After spending over £500 million in a single season, Chelsea FC produced arguably one of the most underwhelming and embarrassing seasons in recent memory, finishing 12th in the league and not making it past the quarter-finals of any cup competition. This, combined with Todd Boehly's antics and the turnstile of managers, made for a truly shocking season. One which Chelsea's new owners will quickly look to forget as they move towards the 23-24 season. Now under the stewardship of Mauricio Pochettino, he will look to gel these young players together, but there's one player who stands out from the rest. Enzo Fernandez, brought in from Benfica, has been brought in as the saviour of Chelsea's midfield. However, there's one problem. Pochettino plays with two holding mids, so the question is, who will partner Enzo Fernandez at Chelsea? Pochettino has traditionally played a 4-2-3-1 formation with a double pivot in midfield, although they often switch to a 4-3-3 when going forward, a 3-4-3 formation when defending, and will probably look to do something similar next season. The role of the two holding players vary quite differently, despite lining up side by side on paper. One being a more defensive, ball-winning midfielder such as Danilo Pereira and Victor Wanyama at PSG and Spurs, while the other a more energetic, progressive player, but also a ball winner such as Verratti and Dembele that becomes part of the attack when they switch to a 4-3-3. Chelsea have been desperate for that holding six since the departure of Nemanja Matic in 2017, and may have thought that Enzo Fernandez was this player when he signed from Benfica, but Fernandez is actually far more suited to that Verratti-Dembele position rather than the holding midfielder. With Mateo Kovacic, Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Connor Gallagher all potentially on the way out, and N'Golo Kante already confirmed to Al Ittihad, Chelsea must heavily invest in the midfield this summer, so here are 3 suggestions. Manuel Ugarte from Sporting Club was heavily linked over the previous few weeks, but looks set to join Paris Saint-Germain for £16 million after Chelsea have pulled out of talks, so some alternatives are needed. Perhaps the most common name brought up in conversation is Ecuadorian midfielder Moises Caicedo. Coming off a stellar season with Brighton and Hove Albion, he's slotted in as a perfect replacement for Yves Bissouma. Arsenal made a move for him in January, but he agreed to see out the season with Brighton as they push for Europe. Now he looks destined for a top 4 side. However, the offer of working under Pochettino may turn his head towards West London. He fits the mould of that 6 that Chelsea are looking for, with 2.87 tackles and 1.61 interceptions per game in a high possession side which Chelsea will hope to be next season. The most frightening thing is that he's only 21 and is probably 5 years away from his peak. The fee that it takes to get Caicedo out of the club will undoubtedly be a club record sale and possibly a British transfer record, the second time Chelsea would have broken it for a young midfielder in the space of 6 months. 12 months ago, Ibrahim Sangare was one of the most sought-after defensive midfielders in Europe, after having a stellar season at PSV Eindhoven in the 21-22 season. However, in early August of last year, he pinned his future to PSV Eindhoven, extending his contract that was expected to run out in 2025 to 2027. Despite increasing the length of his contract, Sangare's wages were only just over £45,000 a week, roughly the same amount as Premier League counterparts Cheikhou Kouyaté and Mario Lemina. Since he's still on a low wage for his ability in relation to the industry, it feels as if this contract extension seems more about PSV getting a large fee for the Ivorian rather than extending his stay in Eindhoven. Sangare would suit that role filled by Dyer or Pereira in Poch sides. He excels in dispossessing attackers in one-on-one situations, acting as a protector for the centre-backs, putting up 2.66 tackles, 1.5 blocks and 1.88 clearances a game. Although he can look a little bit clunky when on the ball, this is due to his 6'3" frame and can be excused just because of how easily he can physically outmuscle players with ease. It may be easy to label him solely as a ball winner, but Sangare reads the game very well offensively as well as defensively, often seeing gaps in the defence, attempting to split the lines with the forward pass, and would likely complement Enzo Fernandez very well. Transfermarkt have valued Ibrahim Sangare at £30 million, but due to the length of his contract it would probably cost somewhere from £40 to £15 million instead. Still, $50 million is a fair price to secure the partner of Enzo Fernandez for the next 5 seasons and allow him to play in his best position. Finally, I think Edson Alvarez would be a fantastic alternative to Caicedo and Sangare. He's been given more license to go forward this season, but I could see him reverting to that holding mid role he's played in previous years if he made the move to Chelsea. The Chelsea midfield has lacked physicality recently, and Alvarez would be a welcome addition. Alvarez is an aggressive attacker that likes to get in the face of opponents, which is reflected positively by his 3 aerials won a game, and negatively by his 10 yellow cards this season. His defensive metrics this season don't really reflect what he's capable of in that position because he's played higher up the pitch for most of the season, but he still puts up a very respectable 2.5 tackles and 1.25 interceptions per game. Alvarez is not only a consistent recoverer but also a great carrier of the ball. He reads the game extremely well, constantly scanning to know his next move before he receives possession, and when he does receive the ball, he isn't agitated by the opposing press, usually dictating the tempo of play himself. All traits which I think would make him suitable to play alongside Enzo Fernandez in the Chelsea midfield. I think it would be great business from Chelsea if they flipped Alvarez for a similar fee which they will get from Man City for Kovacic. That said, Alvarez still has 3 years on his deal, and seeing that this club got £82 million for Antony, it's hard to see them letting Alvarez go for anything under £45 million. Comment down below who you think would make a good partner for Enzo Fernandez at Chelsea, and give us a suggestion for a video that you think might be interesting. I'll see you in a bit.